Hello everyone, today we are going to work on the skill tree and how to actually create uh, skill abilities that will allow us to uh, grant health upgrades to the character. So here right now everything is blocked. That's because I don't have enough skill points. Here you can see the skill points. Now if I uh, uh, do some activities here, now I have 2 skill points. So if I open the skill tree again, now you see this is active. That's because the required skill points for this ability, for this upgrade is 1, and we already have 1 skill points, and this one also require only 1 skill point, but this is not active because this is a dependency of this skill. Only when I activate this skill will be activated. So this is basically a health upgrade. This is also a health upgrade. So let me activate this. Now this screen represents that this skill is activated, and here now this is also active because this parent is active. And also if I go back, I have 1 more skill point left. If I didn't have a skill point left, then even though this parent is activated, I will not say this activated because we don't have enough skill points. So right, yeah, this is what we are going to work on today. And here we are going to modify this data table that represents skill points. So here we are going to add a new field here that allows us to define the associated gameplay ability with this health update or whatever the skill that you want to grant. So yeah, all the skills are also granted through gameplay abilities and gameplay effects. And yeah, I'll have to explain everything. This is going to be a bit longer episode, but hope it's worth it. And also we need to introduce a new base actor attribute here called max health, because since we are going to do a health upgrade, we need a different variable that represent what is the maximum health the character can have. So that's why we will later on, not initially, at the end of the episode, we will add this max health and we will bind this with the skill that we are going to grant through the skill tree. So right, that's a lot of details, but yeah, let's get into the episode now. And before we get started, let me remind you that you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects I have done in my channel from the Patreon page. Once you become a member, you can download anything without any limits, so feel free to check it out. I'll leave the link in description below. And also you can watch all the episodes of this series in this Unreal Engine action RPG with gameplay ability system playlist. I have shared everything, so you can watch all the episodes and build everything you see here from scratch without any issue. So yeah, and yeah, now let's get started with today's work. Alright, so this is what we have worked on so far. I can go to my menu and go to skills. So here we have the skill tree, but as you can see right now, when I press them, nothing happens because it's just a UI and I haven't associated any skill abilities or anything as of now. So here if I do something, you see I get experience points, and as my experience points fill the bar, once it fills the bar, my character get leveled up, 1 and 2 skill points are granted. So that's what happens here. And I want to consume them in my skill tree and activate new abilities. So that's basically what I want to do right now. Okay, so to do that, we have to do a few changes. First thing is, let's go to my structure data table, this survival skills. This data table, this is the one that contains data about each skill that I show in the skill tree. So here, as you can see, we just have a name, level, and dependencies and icon. So those are the only things that I have. So this structure is defined here under structs as skill. So here I'm gonna add two things. First thing is skill point cost. So how many skill points required to activate this particular skill? And it should be an integer. I'll set the default value to 1. And we need another thing. Skill ability. Skill gameplay ability. So this would be, so when I activate this skill, this gameplay ability will be granted. So here I'm gonna choose the type 𝐒𝐴CLM because that's the base gameplay ability we have used for all the gameplay abilities here. Alright, so okay, now if I go here, now you should be able to see. I see the point cost, but I don't see the gameplay ability yet. Oh, one more thing. This should be a class reference. Save everything. Yeah, here. Okay, now I'm gonna create two gameplay abilities for health update 1 and health update 2. I will later on create for everything, but for now we just 2 is enough to demonstrate. So here I'll create a new folder. Let's call it upgrades. Let's create a new gameplay bullet using the 𝐒𝐴CLM, not because we typed that, we use that as the type. So GA upgrade 1. Let me open this, and here we have this applied gameplay effects. So we have this variable because I have defined that in the 𝐒𝐴CLM base gameplay ability that we have created earlier. So use that. So now here I'm gonna create a new gameplay effect that that will contain the cost, that means skill point consumption, and the granted tags when we activate this ability. So yeah, let's create a new gameplay effect. E update 1. Now under components, I will add run tag to target actor. As the added tags, maybe we should create a new one. upgrades health 1 to defaulting that's one, and also as a modifier, as I said, I need to update health. So this is a health update. So let's select health and modifier magnitude. Let's add 10 to health. Here we go to error. Okay. Set to instant. So our target gameplay effect component will not be able to apply stack. So this should be infinite. Once we apply this stack, this effect, it should be there forever for the character. Okay, and also this need to consume 1 skill point. So component, no, under modifiers, I'll add another one, and here I'll select skill points. Add -1. So 1 skill points will be consumed. This need to match with the cost that we define here. Otherwise it would be wrong. Okay, now for this GA health upgrade as the applied gameplay effect, I'll choose GE health update 1, and in the same way, let's here I'll add as a tag and activation block tags. If this is already activated, we should not be able to activate it again. In case somehow if I try to activate this button, we should take care of that already from the skill tree itself. So this would be like a fallback, failsafe. Okay, that's done. 1 is done. One more thing here, apply gameplay effects. This is also something that I have already defined in this GSCLA. So let's do that. What it does is basically applying all the gameplay effects defined in this array. And right, that's all we need to do here. So I'll create a child of this. Create 2. Here, let's add a new subtab. So instead of 1, I'll choose 2 for this. And similarly, let me just duplicate this effect. As the added tag, I'll choose 2. Okay, and 2 instead of this, I'll choose health update 2. Alright. Wait a second, I should have called this upgrade, not update. Okay, alright. Save everything. Now go back here. Now for the health update one, let's call this. Okay, I'll leave update, no problem. But I don't think we see this anywhere yet. Okay, and health update 2. Health upgrade 2. Alright. Now we have 2 abilities assigned. And the next step is how do we actually use them? So here, now let me go back to the UI skill tree and open a skill tree. So this is a skill tree and this is the skill button. Here let's create a new data structure as skill. No, skill data. It's the same as skill structure, and I'll expose this on spawn. Stance editable. By doing that, when I create the button, how do I create it? Here. This is where I create it. Why it's not appearing? So, okay, now let's see. Maybe it took a second to update. So we can pass this skill data. This is where we create the skill button. The reason that I did that is so that we have access to the skill data, a skill that represents the button. And also in the button itself, I'll add another maybe function mark as activated. So let's add a boolean, call it skill activated. We would need this later. By default it should be false, so set mark as set skill activated to true when I do that. And also to visually make it visible, maybe we can do some color change later on. Maybe we should add a tick or something, but right for now maybe let's change the brush color here, something like this. And for the border, so get border, set brush on, like this, just to show that it is already activated, so that we know. Okay, and also if it is activated already, we need to disable the button. So we have the button, so enabled is enabled to false, so we can't click it again. And also I'll add another function, toggle button lock, not actually button, toggle skill. I'll add input lock. So if we need to lock it, all we need to do is just get the button, set enable is enabled. So if we need to lock it, that means we need to pass false. So if lock is true, enabled is false. If lock is false, that means unlock, enabled is true. So we can activate it. Right. All right. Now, I think that's all we need for the button. Next thing is here. Now we need a way to check uh, if if a button that represents a skill is ready to be activated, or if it is already activated, or if it is should be locked because the dependency is not met, or like the required skill points are not there, so whatever the reason. So to check that, I'll add another function here, check button status, maybe not check, update, not button, let's call it skill status, and as a parameter I'll pass uh, a skill button, wdg skill button. Right, now first thing we need to do is get the skill data, not say get. Here we need to check if there is a valid associated gameplay ability. So is valid class. If this is true, if this is false, we need to log this button. So skill button, that means we don't have a valid skill associated with this valid gameplay ability associated with this skill, so we need to log this. Locked pass with the true. If this is true, that means we do have a valid skill associated with this. The next thing we need to check is if we have the required skill points, and we can do that. Well, let's just do this first, just to see if everything is working correctly. I don't want to further do anything here, so because here we are only checking the validity of associated skill. Later on we will add other conditions as well, but first let's get this done. So in the here in we have initialize tree, which do all those things where the skill tree is created. Now here let's add another one. It's, after the skill tree is created, let's add a reroute node here. Click to function. So I'll call it refresh skill. Now here I will go through all the skills and check their update their status. So we can do it like this. Skill button map. By this way I can access all the buttons for each button. Skill status. Alright. See? Yeah. Okay. Now see, these are deactivated. This one and this one is active. But ideally, only this should be active because this should be activated only when this is activated, because that is a dependency. So the first condition check is working properly. And the next thing is if we have a valid skill associated with the button, Next thing we need to check is if we have the required amount of skill points. So for that, get form, and we have a function get base actor attributes. Here, this is also something that we have already created, an interface event, and here this is base actor attributes. We can get skill points, current value, and we can check if the current value is larger or equal to the cost of this scale. So button data right cost to keep things simpler. Done connected pins. Now if this is true, that means this condition is also correct. If false, we need to again do this, which is locking it. So let's do it like this. If it is true, then again we don't need to do anything. Now let's check this condition as well. But we don't see the character level always. We only see when it is updated. So here it's currently 0. If I press K, now you see this is also deactivated because we don't have enough skill points. So, but I have set up this hotkey to grant skill points, grant experience points, and now we have 2 skill points. Now if I press K, so it's not still showing up because we are not refreshing the skill tree. So we should refresh skill tree every time we open it. That means if I go to my HUD, when I open the skill tree here, refresh, this should take out that. Let's see. Here, it's all locked. Skill points, still locked. Well, that's because we already locked it previously, but we didn't unlock it. So what we can do is lock. Let's unlock it initially regardless. So by default it will be unlocked, but if we have any problem we will lock it. Now it should work. It's locked. Okay, grant skill points. Now we have 2 skill points. Now it is unlocked, and this is also unlocked, but this should be locked if we consider the dependencies, and let's look into that now. So we are starting from the first button, from the top of the tree to bottom. So therefore we should be able to use this skill activated this. So we can use this to check if the dependency is already activated. Now let's go here. If this is also true, again we can get scale data. Need to access dependencies. For each dependency, I need to make sure all the dependencies are activated. If yes, this skill should be activated, otherwise this skill should be unlocked, otherwise it should be locked. Let's do, yeah, this is fine. I'll add a local variable, dependencies activated. By default, this should be true. Now here, for each dependency, we can use this skill button map and find the required skill. Branch. This should be there because if it is false, then I'll set dependencies activated to false. If it is true, so this is because this is for some reason, if this name is not present in this button map, we are here not actually checking the active status. Now here we can get activated, skill activated. That's another problem. If this is again false, then the same thing. Dependency is activated, set to false. Now, after all these steps, dependency is activated. If it is false, that means we need to lock the button, because this should be true. Right, now let's check. This is locked, everything is locked. Okay, now grant enough skills. Open again. This is unlocked and this is locked because the parent is not activated. Okay, so now how to activate or how to actually grant the skill. For that, let's go to the skill button. Here, select the button, and we already have on-clicked event. This is because I just duplicated the inventory button here, but that's not really relevant for here for this case. So on clicked, I'll get skill data and right skill and get for gameplay ability. No, ability system component. And give ability and activate once. And we can grant this ability. Now one thing to note here is, if you see, hover over this authority only, so this will only work on server or in a standalone mode. So I don't want to think about how to make this skill tree work in a multiplayer games. We will do that definitely later, but for now let's just test this on a standalone mode. I will cover the replication part later on. Now, yeah, grant this and let's mark this skill as activated. As and also after this we need to refresh the skill tree as well, but right now we don't have a reference to the skill tree widget itself, but we do have this dispatcher on click dispatch. So let's call it on click dispatch. So we don't really have an index here, so let's remove it. And here when we create the button, that means here anything bound to that dispatch. No, find event to on click dispatch. Event and refresh skill. Alright. Now let's see if I didn't miss any steps. Can't activate. Now plant some skills, skill points. Okay. Now this is active. I can grant it. So now this is also active, but here note that the skill point is not updated, but actually if I press X again, see, it's 3 now. That means it is activated. That means one skill point is consumed. If I go again, now this can be activated. Click again, now this is also green. Go back, press X again, see, now it's 2. So that means it's working. Also right now I don't have anything to show that the health is increased. Actually, I just realized one thing. If I go here, what we are actually changing is the base health, which does not make sense. Why didn't I think about that? What we should be increasing is the max health that we can have. But right now, I don't have a variable for that. So here, this is where I update the health in my character, which is a hard-coded value. So how did I miss this? Oh, it has been some time I implemented this. So what we should do now is, if we actually want to have health updates, we should go to our base actor attributes, which happens in the C++ side. Here, base actor attributes. Now here we can add max health. So I'll just do that. Max health everywhere instead of health. And we need to have this function. function. Copilot is not kicking in today. It's still processing. Oh, it's gonna copy. Oh, there is an additional L. Do I have that everywhere? Oh, I can. Oh, this additional one I just created. Okay. Oh, and so here. Now we have a max health attribute. Right. Now let me compile this. Oh, good. Now we need to define the default value. So base actor attributes. Right here I only have used base value for the health. So let me duplicate this. Should be max health. The base value should be of course 100. Right now we can use it when I update health, which is here. This is character. We can this error. Oh, we might have to close this and recompile because we changed the base actor attributes. Alright. Okay, open it. Is there? I was here. No compile errors. Let base actor attributes. And here, now I should be able to get access. Yeah. Display it. This is the current value. Okay. Now everything is working fine. Let me just get it just to make sure things are working properly. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's working. Okay, great. That's the error. Okay, base actor. This wouldn't work. Okay, is valid. Because I do this, maybe I'm doing this before the character is initialized. That's it. It's valid here as well. Okay, now let's go back to the scale. No, gameplay effect. These two. Here what I actually need to update is, instead of this, max health. Here also, not health, max health. Okay, great. Now we should actually have some difference in actual health numbers, but still it is not visible because I don't extend this health bar. But I don't wish to do that right now because we have already taken like 40 minutes. I don't want this episode to be any more longer. So see here the final demonstration, not active. Let me give some skill points, right? Now this is active. Now this is also active. Okay. Now, yeah, now the skill is basically granted. But in the next episode, let's look into how to actually show the health upgrade in down here, and yeah, rest of the stuff. Let me just get hit once. Let's see. You see a higher amount of health reduced when I get hit. That's because now my max health is higher, and I only had for example, if I had only 100, now my max health is 120. So but it was fully filled before because earlier we were using 100 as the max health. So hope that made sense. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let's continue to work on the skill tree and make it perfect. So as always, updated project files will be available for download in the Patreon page. Link would be in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And see you in the next episode. Goodbye.